On the evening of March 27, 1964, Prince William Sound in Alaska was hit with a 9.2 magnitude earthquake, the largest ever recorded in North America and the second most powerful event seen since the beginning of modern seismography. Lasting 4 minutes and 38 seconds, the quake released 500 years of stress buildup while rupturing 970 kilometers of fault line. Throughout Alaska, cities crumbled as buildings, roads, and other infrastructure were destroyed. Some areas of land near Kodiak, Alaska were permanently raised by 9 meters, while other areas south of Anchorage dropped by almost 3 meters. However, the immediate damage only hinted at the magnitude of destruction that would follow, as the initial quake triggered an event with much farther-reaching impacts. The Alaskan quake was the result of an oceanic plate being forced underneath a continental plate. These sudden shifts in the ocean floor created a series of tsunamis which began to surge along the western coast of North America. At some points closest to the epicenter, the waves were measured at a staggering 67 meters tall. One of the first communities hit was Chenega, Alaska, where an 8-meter tsunami swept over the village, destroying all but 2 of the buildings and killing 23 of the 75 inhabitants. In Port Valdez, a massive underwater landslide resulted in the deaths of 32 people, who were trapped by the collapse of the Valdez city harbor and inside the ship that was docked there at the time. Communities along the coast of British Columbia and Vancouver Island saw extensive damage. One of the hardest hit was Port Alberni, which was struck in the dead of night while most people lay fast asleep in their bed. Here, the unique shape of the Alberni Inlet created a funnel effect which caused waters to gain speed, resulting in waves 2.5 times larger than those that reached neighboring cities. Resident Bob Cole remembers the moments leading up to the first wave as the water was drawn away from the shore. The Tsunamis River almost went dry, he said. Then we saw sparks from the pulp mill as the water surged. The next thing we see is a white pickup truck tumbling up the river. He recalled hearing crunching and rumbling sounds as the water surged, and remembers seeing people fleeing from their homes with boxes in their arms. A second wave struck about 90 minutes later, estimated to be moving at speeds of 400 kilometers an hour. This wave was the most destructive, picking up boats, cars, and houses. Michael Lyle was 14 years old at the time and recalled, "We could see houses, garages, and other stuff going down the river. There were boats up on the road." Once the waves receded, there was a horrible stink. It was the black mud that came up from the bottom of the canal. After the waters settled, 350 homes were damaged and 58 of them destroyed, with total damages estimated at $5 million. However, despite the extensive property damage, the residents suffered no fatalities and no serious injuries. Other areas weren't so lucky. The surge reached the Oregon coast while evacuations were underway, but despite warning sirens, television broadcasts, and door-to-door efforts, not everyone got the word. The McKenzie family was camping at Beverly Beach in a makeshift shelter when the wave hit. Monty McKenzie recalled that there was only a foot of air in the top of their lean-to, and the children were screaming. Then the second wave hit, and logs were thrown at us like matchsticks. Marion Teal said, "I had 2 of the kids by the hands, but I have no idea what happened. Nobody had a chance." 4 children, ages 3, 6, 7, and 8, were swept out to sea along with the family dog. Only one of their bodies was ever recovered. In Waldenport, one witness watched as the waves rolled in. "I looked up and realized that the water was coming back in and started running towards my car. Halfway, I turned to look just as the waves struck the bridge and threw stumps and logs over it." Farther south in Crescent City, California, a 75-foot wall of water wiped out a large portion of the city, killing 12 people and causing an estimated $15 million in damage. Although waves dissipated as they traveled farther from the epicenter, the effects were seen as far as Mexico, Peru, New Zealand, and Japan. In total, the earthquake took 131 lives, 9 as the result of the quake itself, and another 122 from the subsequent tsunamis. In the weeks that followed, Alaska was hit by hundreds of aftershocks. In the first day alone, 11 major shocks were recorded, with a magnitude greater than 6.0. 9 more struck over the next 3 weeks. In all, thousands of aftershocks occurred in the months after the quake, and smaller aftershocks continued to strike the region for more than a year. At the time of the event, the potential risk of tsunami damage wasn't well known or understood by the general public. However, this event brought seismic hazard to attention, prompting steps to be taken to help mitigate the risk to human life should another similar event occur. Technological advances have improved earthquake detection. The formation of national programs like the Tsunami Warning Center, combined with improvements in telecommunications, will help people in affected areas to be better alerted. Tsunami maps have also been developed to identify areas at risk and highlight evacuation routes to be used in case of emergency. However, given the magnitude of the 9.2 quake and the resulting tsunami, it's hard to believe that a loss of life could have been completely avoided.